Democratic primary candidate Julian Castro has a new plan to deal with the country's still unresolved lead poisoning problem. He's got it on his website. There's a lot to it. We're just gonna give you a couple of the most important details because this is a huge issue that nobody talks about, nobody does anything about, and this plan looks pretty good, at least on its face. He would ask Congress to allocate $5 billion per year for 10 years to replace lead pipes and address lead contamination in paint and soil, quote, in areas of highest need, as well as an additional $100 million per year towards preventing lead poisoning in children. And for people whose blood has high levels of lead, Castro's plan includes provisions for treating lead poisoning under universal health care, mandatory lead testing for children under 2 years old, and support services including counseling, tutoring, education, and nutritional needs as well. And so he's really coming at this from two sides. From the people who are already poisoned because we have not done anything about this for the last half century, even though we've known how bad the problem is and we know what we need to do to fix it. He would provide healthcare for those people. Although that can help, it will never repair the damage that has been done, especially to kids who were exposed at a young age. And also finally strip the pipes and the paint and the contaminated soil and things like that that continue to contaminate people every day, including right now as I'm reading this. It is an expensive thing. $50 billion might not be enough. It might only be a fraction of what's needed, but at least he is taking it seriously. It could drive a national conversation if people do take this seriously. And so, good on Julian Castro for actually suggesting it.
So, I mean, I guess I'll guess that the next response will be, oh, where are you gonna get the money for this? These libs, again, with their constant pushing for money to be thrown at things. You mean like Americans, the greatest country on earth, the one that's better than others? Again, and we talked about it before, Donald Trump promised $700 billion to the military on top of another 730 some odd billion dollars to the military to do what? Is this building lead pipes? Is this preventing children from getting sick from it? So again, it only applies to the people that have the means to avoid the destruction of America. So we're making America great again by throwing more money at the military to destroy other countries because that makes us great instead of investing it in ourselves. We have money to throw at things, we just don't have money to throw at the right things, is what we continue to see. No one's gonna blink twice when they hear that number. He bragged about that number. $700 billion because I didn't do anything, I had bone spurs.
And he's not the only one. A lot of Republicans and a good number of Democrats not only voted for it, but would brag about having voted to increase the military budget. So yes, as you will point out, at some point, it's just the name that occurs to me, Jake Tapper will say, but how do you pay for it? I would respond by, how do you pay for having a country where millions of your citizens have artificially lower IQs, learning disabilities, ADHD, all of those things? These are people that are gonna have health problems throughout their life. They're gonna be less productive on the job. They're not going to invent new services and products. They're not gonna start businesses necessarily. Think about all the economic damage that is done over the course of a half century or longer from these people having been permanently set back because they were exposed to lead when they were younger. And also understand that while this is a problem that is across America, obviously certain communities are far more affected by it. And that seems to be recognized in this plan. I also want to say, by the way, when he talks about mandatory testing for lead poisoning, you might think, well, they must do that, right? No, they don't do that. Although in 2014, the CDC found that 4.2% of children tested had elevated blood lead levels of, that's 5, I think it's milligrams per deciliter or greater. That's horrible. There's no safe level of blood, of lead in the blood. And many states have missed significant percentages of the kids that are actually contaminated. We're talking 20, 30, 40, as high as 70 or 80% of kids who are contaminated, they get missed. So the testing is very, very needed. Thank you for watching this clip from the Damage Report. For more content from the show and access to TYT Network members only exclusives, go to tyt.com/Brooke. Wait, no, it's tyt.com/John. Go to tyt.com/John to sign up.